How often have you scoured through job ads just to find that they only hire locals? Hi, if you're new here, my name is Carmen, and I used to be an international student as well, 4 years to be exact. I then gone on to get a job in auditing, and now I have got a position in management consulting. I really hope that my experience can help you with your job search. My number one tip is definitely networking. That's how I found my job, and that's how a lot of people I know that got their jobs as well. Especially when you're an international student, you're still pretty fresh and you need to put a face to your name. Networking can be so daunting, but I would like to encourage you to see it differently. Instead of thinking what you can get out from it, think of how you can add value. Think of what you can offer to the employers. You want to show that you've got a proactive, can-do attitude, that you're curious-minded and you're willing to learn, and that you're also sociable and a good cultural fit. I know it's a mouthful, but really they just want to see that you can be a fun person to work with. Another thing on top of that is if you are able to attend in-person networking events, that would be great. I think in-person events allows you to better connect to people, but if that's not possible, you can also connect with people on LinkedIn and try to reach out and ask for a Zoom or a Teams catch-up. I personally met my previous employer at a networking event and I followed up on LinkedIn later on. I actually was very close to not being invited, but when I heard that my friend got invited to the next round, I followed up with the partner just to make sure, hey, if there's any hiccups, there's any issues, then I received an invite later. I then got an internship, and because I demonstrated good attitude, I was doing good work, they offered me a graduate position after that. The company that I worked for actually don't usually hire internationals, but because of the fact that I went and followed up and I was there to put a face to the name, I think that's really how I got the job. Another thing I would recommend is having a simple and concise resume. Here's a few examples from the Harvard cover letter and resume template. You can search it online for free. It's actually been proven that these simple and concise resumes do get better results. Unless you're applying for something more creative, then you might want to try something else. You want to use action verbs, also beef up your resume or CV. That's what will help you get a foot in the door. So what I did was I was on the committee of a finance club. I was also volunteer in my free time. But if I could go back, I would definitely tone down on the activities that I participated in. I burnt out before graduating because I was so stressed out that I wouldn't get a job, I won't be able to stay back in the country. My last tip here is for the interviews to prepare 3 examples that showcases your key skills that's tailored to the job you're applying for. It's pretty similar most of the time, the few things such as problem-solving skills, teamwork, communication. Now you can always do a little bit of soul search and digging, or even looking at your current resume to see what examples you could talk about. These examples should usually show that you went above and beyond, you solved a complex problem, or you communicated something complex and broke it down so that it's easy to understand, that you worked in a team and you succeeded. Depending whether you're a graduate or an experienced hire, if you are a graduate, then you definitely need to have these examples ready. And even if you don't have a whole lot of job experiences, that's okay. You can always talk about your assignments or projects that you're on, or even team sports. I would say to relax, try your best to be your best self. Think of how you can add value to them once again. Be sure to keep an eye on what values that they hold dear to them, and try to showcase and incorporate those values in the examples that you've prepared. You don't want to sound like a robot, obviously, because employers will know if you're just memorizing off a script. So as much as you can practice, but at the same time, I would say not to have a script, but have some bullet points and key things that you know you want to talk about. The more interviews you go to, the better you'll be at this. I've had so many rejections, like so many. There was this one HR lady that was really keen to go through the whole process, and she's from the Big Four as well, until she realized I'm actually not a local. So she then specifically said, I'm sorry, but the company just does not accept people who are on student visas at this moment. So I was absolutely crushed, but I knew I couldn't just give up. I knew I had to move on to the next. So I really hope that this helped inspire you a little bit and help you think about ways and strategies that you can stand out as an international, because as an international we do have to try a little bit more and stand out a bit more. But above all, stay true to your values and you will attract the right opportunity. I have no doubt about it. So I hope this helps. Do let me know if it does, and if it doesn't, you're welcome to add any suggestions and feedback as well in the comment section below. I'll link some of the things I've talked about in the description as well if you want to check out. And if you're still looking to apply for your Australian visa, if you're in Australia, then I'll link the next video on how that process looks like for myself. But if you're not from Australia, I will still create lots of content that is applicable in general. So hopefully that will help you in your job search or your adulting journey. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye!